Hi, hope you're well. For those who don't know me, it's Ben from My Cycling Coach, where we have now helped over 500 cyclists achieve 3 watts per kilo and beyond with their power, fitness, riding. I make these videos, I've been doing this now for the past 10 to 15 years, the research, the study, the practical application of that with both my own training, but also the hundreds of clients that we've helped achieve their goals. And if I can now fast track you to your goals through these videos, then I've done my job. So for today, this week, what I wanted to talk about is really just building on the past 2 videos. We did some basics around training, structure, baseline testing to start the year. Second video was then around general nutrition and fueling to align with that training. Today, I just wanted to delve into the nutrition, but more specifically, how you can start to then actually use macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins and fats, the targets, some basic targets that you can focus on to align those with your training to, one, ensure that you have the energy when you're going into your training session so you can really maximize that. The more energy you can have during those rides, the better you're going to perform, the better the quality of those sessions are going to be. And the other part that we're going to look at today is also recovery, ensuring that you're hitting targets with your macronutrients to really ensure that you're recovering as well as possible from your training. And the nutrition piece of recovery is one of the most important to ensure that you're doing that. So what we're going to start off with today then is carbohydrates. Absolutely crucial. And the examples that I'm going to be giving you with carbohydrates are based on, there's many different ways that you can fuel for different types of training sessions. But just to put some context, the sessions that we're going to be focusing on fueling today we're still very much in winter, shorter sessions, potentially on a turbo trainer. You may be doing them out on the road that are focusing on threshold or VO2 max intervals. So really some quite hard interval training sessions to really help you, either if you're looking to improve your body's ability to tolerate lactate, so that threshold work, or VO2 max, enhance your body's ability to utilize oxygen. 2 key sessions which I mentioned in that initial training video, which you want to be doing if you are looking to improve those things. And generally, your sustained efforts, your hill climbing, but generally just improving your fitness on the bike now as we come into spring. So the first macronutrient, carbohydrate, for fueling these types of sessions. Now, a framework or a range that you can generally try to aim for prior to any threshold or VO2 max session that is generally, should we say, around an hour and a half in length, might be an hour and 15 to an hour and a half in length. That's going to include a warm-up, your main set of intervals, and a cool down, potentially 10 minutes at the end of the session. So the session that we're fueling for here, hour and 15 to an hour and a half. Now, a range for your carbohydrate of 1 to 1.5 grams of carbohydrate per kg of body weight for a session like this is what you want to be targeting pre-ride. Now, where you want to be doing this, you might just want to go back to the nutrition video that I did prior, because we did discuss timings there, but we'll go through that as well. So generally, if you're training later in the afternoon or evening, then that 1 to 1.5 grams of carbohydrate per kg of body weight, you want to be starting that from around lunchtime. So you may include in your main meal at lunch, jacket potato, pasta, rice, wholemeal breads, something along those lines at lunchtime to already start fueling with that 1 to 1.5 grams. You might not do all of that at lunch because that is quite a lot of carbohydrates to consume, maybe for some people. So you can start at lunchtime, eat the bulk there, and then as I mentioned in the nutrition video prior, you can then mid-afternoon or leading into your session in the evening, top up with a carbohydrate snack or drink or something along those lines. A piece of fruit, banana, energy bar, gel, something in your bottle, generally a high carbohydrate snack, a couple of slices of toast. Those are really easy examples there to allow you to actually then get to that minimum of 1 gram per kg of body weight. So we're looking at carbohydrates. Minimum range that we want is 1 to 1.5 grams per kg of body weight. This amount generally for that training session that I mentioned there, hour and 15 to an hour and a half, if you fall between that range and you achieve that, and you haven't already been doing so, is going to transform how you feel during your training ride, how prepared you are, because you're going to be taxing that anaerobic energy system. You're going to need some carbohydrates to really be able to ensure that you can hit those target powers and intensities. Generally then during ride, if it's a session again of around an hour and 15 to an hour and a half, I would still also recommend, even though you may have achieved this amount, that you also take some carbohydrates on during the ride. And I generally find the easiest way to do this, if you're doing some hard intervals, you don't want to start eating things during those rides just because, one, you're going to be breathing really heavy, you're going to be sweating a lot, you're probably going to end up spitting more of that energy bar or cereal bar or something out. Those are better more for like endurance rides to focus on the solids. During these training sessions, if it's a threshold of VO2 max, I would really be looking at trying to go for like fluid-based carbohydrates. Okay, and I would try over a session of around an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 in length. If you've got those in there, look to try to consume 40 to 60 grams of carbs during the ride. Okay, now many carbohydrate powders, fuels, things out there, put that in your bottle. If you're breathing heavy, it's a lot easier to actually then drink that carbohydrate. What's also great about that is you're keeping on top of your hydration. And for a session like this, again, the range that I mentioned there, we want to be looking at, it's an hour and 15 to an hour and a half, I would say. I would be recommending 750 millilitres of fluid combined with those carbs. That's going to allow you to ensure pre-ride, we've got the energy, we've hit our target there, you incorporate that into your main meal. What do you need to do if you might be thinking now actually quickly on this, if you're somebody who trains early in the morning, like I said in my previous video, you just split this amount here with the evening prior. Okay, so let's say you're training on a Wednesday morning, you may then actually on a Tuesday evening, that's where you want to be achieving the bulk of these carbohydrates on your Tuesday evening meal. If you have, I don't know, 0.8 or 0.8 grams of carbohydrate per kilo body weight, that leaves you only 0.2 that you've then got to achieve maybe in the morning, again through an energy gel or a banana or something just to top up ready for your session. So just split this with the evening prior, and then that allows you to achieve that. You can wake up in the morning, move straight into your during ride fueling, and then making sure that you're also keeping on top of your hydration during that. And that's a really nice way to combine that on the higher intensity sessions. Okay, so just some specific stuff there around carbohydrates and fueling, specifically to body weight as well, which is always quite nice to work out. We're now just going to move into the recovery piece. So the macronutrient we really want to focus on for this, the two key ones we're going to focus on today is one, the carbohydrates, and then the protein. Okay, so generally protein, really important in your diet, get it as much natural sources through the protein. You can obviously then use supplements to supplement your main, generally your meals. It's like I was saying in my other video as well, always start your meal. If you're following a structured training program, you need to keep that protein in your diet. Generally, a minimum, in my own training, but what I found with my clients, if we focus on a minimum of 1.5 grams of protein per kg of protein as your minimum daily target when you're following a structured training plan. This should be your minimum to achieve that, 1.5 grams of protein per kg, okay? Try to do that as much as you can from natural sources. If you can eat meat, fish, dairy, those sorts of things, beans, nuts, tofu, other options out there if you obviously can't eat that, but that wants to be your minimum amount, okay? And split that through the day. Always start if you're following a structured training program, a great way to think of this is if you've got your plate and you're making a meal, always start with the protein option. What protein am I putting on the plate first? And then, as I said in my other video, you can then, depending on whether it's a rest day, a training day, a VO2 day, a threshold day, a long endurance ride day, alter the amount of carbohydrates that you will have on the plate when you're doing that, okay? Generally, this wants to be your target. There are key times in the day that we want to be then achieving the protein. This is certainly, if we go to our example that we're using in this video, our hour and 15 to hour and a half threshold or VO2 max training session, it's absolutely crucial that within 30 to 60 minutes, I would always say you can leave it a little bit longer. There's loads of research out there that shows muscle protein uptake is at its highest at different rates at different points. But generally, to be safe, if you can consume 25 grams of protein within 60 minutes of finishing all of your rides, but especially if it's a higher intensity ride, this is going to really help with recovery. As I say, that's where muscle protein uptake is at its highest. It's going to absorb that protein. It's going to use that to then prevent soreness, help repair muscle tissue that has been broken down as part of the training session, and ensure that you're helping your body with that macronutrients to support that. Okay? What's the easiest way to do this? Generally, as I say, this is where you will use supplement. If we try to accumulate the majority of this through natural sources, great. This will probably be done in a supplement format, just because generally as well, when you finish your training ride, it's easy to use a whey protein shake. Just a general, really bog standard whey protein shake, maybe with some branch chain amino acids in it, will be beneficial as well. Generally, that is the easiest way to achieve this, because you're not going to be getting off the bike when you're dripping in sweat after a threshold or VO2 session, trying to fry up some eggs or going and preparing a meal. Okay, so to hit this window, but also achieve this amount as quickly as possible, you can do this with water, you can do it with milk, whichever preferred, your preferences. You can choose your preferred taste in terms of whey protein supplement, whether it's a vegan one, whether it's a whey protein. But generally, just focus on trying to get as close to this amount as you possibly can, and that will really ensure that you've hit that protein macronutrient, finishing your session, you're helping your body recover. So yeah, just 2 specific targets in terms of carbohydrates and proteins. Based on that session, your threshold, your VO2 max work, absolutely crucial if you're looking to improve your hill climbing, your FTP, sustained efforts, generally just bringing up your training zones. The first 2 videos that we did at the start of the year, if you missed those, be sure to go back and watch them. The nutrition one was generally around nutrition fueling, some timing there as well. A bit of timing in there today too. I hope that helped. If it did, yeah, please drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, then yeah, welcome. Please subscribe. I'm going to try and get out as much as content as we can around training, nutrition, fueling to help you guys. And say, I make these videos if I can fast track you to your results, your goals, and help you get there. Certainly now as we come into the spring, then I've done my job. Have an awesome rest of your day. Speak to you soon.